Good morning, or I guess good afternoon. It is literally exactly high noon. So happy Wednesday, little hump day action for you. It is noontime Eastern time. We got some orders to do. We're gonna have two exciting things for you today. First off, we're gonna ship orders. You're probably not surprised by that. But second of all, I just listed 5 items this morning over to eBay. I'm gonna cross list those items on Nifty. I hand selected like 5 really interesting items. Let me get live here on Instagram 1 second here. Cool. We are now live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. As always, these lives are available live and you can ask questions and all that stuff. But these are also available as a replay. So as soon as this live is over, you can rewatch this, you can rewind, you can fast forward through the boring peak stuff if you want to. But we're going to give you a good, honest glimpse into the business today. We're going to do two things today, which I'm pretty excited about. The first is shipping, obviously. The second, I'm going to go into 5 items, interesting items that I shipped today. There's been a lot of conversation lately, I feel like, in the comment section and in live videos about there's really two different skills, and there's really three. There's 3 different skills it takes to become a successful reseller, whether it's part-time or full-time. The first skill is obviously finding good items. We talk about that all the time. I share videos and posts every single day, helping you find items that have good sell-through rates, and that you can make a profit on eBay and Poshmark. Items that are in demand. But what probably I don't talk about enough, and I do talk about it, but talk about it is the second thing. You got to get really good at selling these items. So it's one thing to get these items, but guess what? You're competing with a whole bunch of other people who have those items too. So you got to get really good at selling these items too. They're 2 different skills: finding and then selling. The third skill is then you got to start finding some efficiencies to both your sourcing, like acquiring and finding the good stuff. You got to find some efficiencies to that work specific for your business and your area, and you have to find some efficiencies within like your listing and selling part of your business as well too. I do use software to cross list. We're actually, if you hang out for a little bit, we're going to do shipping first, and then we're going to jump into actually doing some cross listing because we're going to talk about like selling. And I've had a lot of people in my comments telling me that items that I pick up to sell online are just sitting in their stores for months and months and months. Somebody messaged me yesterday about an item that I sold on Monday in the live, and they're like, I've had that listed for 2 years. So I reviewed that person's listing. I gave them some good, honest feedback. I thought it was a good listing. We had some ideas to make it even better. And we talked about those ideas. So today we're going to talk about both. We're going to talk about, the items that are in demand right now. I'm going to show you exactly what's selling from my eBay and Poshmark stores today. By the way, somebody down below in the chat, let me know what we're going to ship first, eBay or Poshmark. After we do the shipping and you get to look at exactly what's selling and you get to hear exactly how much it's selling for and what my profit is on each of those items, how much I spent for those items, all that stuff, and how many days they were in inventory, then we're going to switch over and we're going to look at 5 specific listings that I just put up this morning. We're going to cross list those onto Nifty. I'm going to show you how that works. Because not only do you got to get good at finding these items, you got to get good at selling these. Michelle, there's a link if you want to check out Nifty. There's a free 7-day trial link. That link is in the description of this video. Oh, you're on Instagram. You'll find it in the if you go to chris@peak.com or go to my profile, you'll find that free trial link. That'll also get you 15% off your first month if you sign up with that link. I'm going to drop that link in the chat for YouTube and Facebook. You can't click links on the chat and Instagram, but you can on YouTube and Facebook. So that is in there for you all if you want to check out Nifty, but we're going to dig into it a little bit deeper. Let's ship some orders first. Brittany is in the house, and Brittany says we're going to ship eBay first. So we're going to do eBay. We're going to do Poshmark. We have 8 total orders going out today. Excuse me. And let's see here. I'm just going to check one quick thing. I'm going to give you some stats. Yes. Cool. So out of these 8 orders, I have 3 of them were actually Nifty auto offers. So without Nifty sending these auto offers, without that automation tool, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you sharing your love for Nifty in the chat over there on Instagram. Welcome in, everybody. If you haven't said hi, say hi. I'd love to hear about your sales. How's your week going? Are you finding some cool stuff out and about? I was outsourcing yesterday, hit 2 thrift stores and a retail store. I did pretty well. The first store was actually the best store. And that kind of surprised me a little bit, but had a good day yesterday, found some cool stuff. And yeah, love to hear about what's going on with y'all. We got 8 orders. 3 of them are Nifty best offers. Like Nifty sent out the offer automatically, 10% off as soon as 10 minutes after that person liked or watched that item. So we got sales on Poshmark, two sales on eBay that were nifty offers, and one on Poshmark. So that's great, because otherwise we'd only be shipping out 5 orders today. But instead we got 8 orders. We get some good orders going out today too. I'm pretty excited about it. So let's jump into it. Brittany says we're going to ship eBay first. So let me get these shipping labels printed out first. So 6 total orders on eBay in the last 24 hours and 2 on Poshmark. We're going to start with eBay. We'll move on to Poshmark and then hang tight. We're going to really dig into some listings, and I intentionally picked some listings today that will have some lessons in them, and I'm going to show you exactly how I listed these items on eBay, some of my best tips and tricks to help these items sell really well. It's more than just finding them. It's about selling them too. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. If you have questions about Nifty and what I'm talking about later on, that'll be perfect. So our first order is going out the door to, heyo, what's up? BTER Wick. Whisk. I'm sorry. I'll call you Whisk maybe. What's up, Whisk? We got, first up, this is an interesting one. Some of you might remember back in the winter time on social media, there was a lot of people talking about how Puma was a big Vero item on eBay. Like eBay was taking down people's Puma items because Puma did a big, they did a big spree of just reporting a whole bunch of items on eBay as not authentic, right? And brands have that right to do it legally, and then eBay has to go take those items down. So there's this big sort of like push. Everyone was getting Veros, all this. I never got any Veros. I had a handful of items up over the winter time that were Puma listings. Let me know down below in the chat. Have you got any? I haven't heard anyone talk about Puma being Vero'd in months now. And I haven't had any. I have 2 Puma sales today. Here's the first one right here. This was actually on a nifty auto offer. So this buyer, Bruce, hit the watch button on eBay on this listing. And 10 minutes later, Nifty sent them an offer for 10% off. Bruce accepted that offer. Deal closed. This actually happened while I was laying in bed this morning, putting out my first post of the day. And boom, that sale happened. So I had these shorts listed for $19.99. Really awesome pattern on these. And they sold for $18. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Not getting rich off selling Puma golf shorts, but it fills up the cart and then also fills up the bank account likewise. These are going to ship out in a 12x9 poly mailer, which probably almost everything today will ship out in that. My profit after fees on this is going to be about make about $11 off this. I'll end up making about $2 off the shipping. So $11 total profit on this. I paid $5 at the thrift store. Thank you, Bruce. These are going to Duluth, Georgia. Duluth, Georgia. What's up? What's up? Happy Wednesday, hump day. It's a rare Wednesday that I came live, but I had some lessons today. I felt the energy to teach today, so we're on live. Where's the best place to authenticate? I have a Louis Vuitton item I'm not sure of. Vineyard, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I don't think I've ever used an authentication app or anything. I've never authenticated anything. However, what is the Louis Vuitton item? Some of the items that you list that are like Louis Vuitton on eBay and Poshmark, it might go through like auto authentication. Like you might send it in to eBay's like authentication center or Poshmark's authentication center. But I personally have never used an authentication app, so I don't have anything to share with you. I would, if it were me, I would just Google it and kind of see like what apps had good reviews and just use those apps. But sorry, I don't have anything. I don't have any more insight on that. Today's my birthday. Happy birthday to Brittany. Let's drop some birthday wishes to Brittany in the chat. I'll drop one too. Happy birthday, Brittany. All right. Let's get some birthday wishes to Brittany in the chat. Next up is what do you got for your plan for your birthday? All work, no play. Polo Ralph Lauren. Men's size extra large. This is a linen and silk blend. Really good seller. I post about these a lot. I pick them up whenever I find linen or silk or the combination of both linen and silk. I'll take those too. I had this listed for $34, which is about market value for these. Just a plain color short sleeve camp shirt right here. And I got an offer, an actual natural offer from the buyer for $28. I just went ahead and accepted it. I paid $5 for this at a thrift store. So my profit on this after fees is going to be about, let's see, 23 minus 5, 18. Make about $19 off this. About $19. Always, and this one had the pony not on the chest, it had the pony down at the hem. So that's something to look for. Typically when I find the polo Ralph Lauren shirts with the pony down on the hem here, that's typically going to be a linen or a silk shirt. So that could be a giveaway too. I'm trying to think of an example. There are some that are cotton that they put it down there, but if you find like a short sleeve shirt like this one, with the pony down there, it's probably going to be linen or silk or both. This is going to Chehan in Portland, Oregon. Thank you, Chehan. We're going straight across the country from Asheville, North Carolina, all the way up to Portland, Oregon. My shipping label on this is going to be $5.80, going from just clear across the country. USPS ground advantage on that. At work, but just shipped out 8 orders. Nice, Brittany. I'm doing 8 too. 8's the number today. What's up? Shannon is in the house with some birthday wishes for you. I use the Legit app. Works great. There you go. From Michelle. All right. 2 down. Let's keep on and hang out. Like I really mean it. I think the second half of this live is going to be, it's going to be a little something different. And I think it's going to be the most education because I ship every day. And you get to see these items that are in demand, that are selling and all that stuff. But every day I don't dig into listings and show you like tips and tricks that help me sell items that maybe other people sit on for a long time. Next up is Territory Ahead. I picked this up about a month ago. I'll tell you exactly how long ago. 27 days. It's pretty good. So 27 days ago, and I thought this was a borderline Territory Ahead, like whether it's a pick or a pass. Typically with Territory Ahead, I'm only picking up really unique ones that are really southwesterny, like Aztec prints or just really southwest sort of colors. Like this one didn't really fit either of those. It wasn't a really big size either. It's a modern tag. It's not even vintage. It's a men's medium. But I just felt like it was a cool looking shirt, and I felt like a Territory Ahead buyer would kind of vibe with it. I got an offer for like $15. I think I had it listed for like $22.99. I got an offer for $15. I countered at $19.99. The buyer came up to $17. I countered at $19.99, and they accepted the $19.99. So this is going out the door to Donovan. Donovan's a strong negotiator, but he ran into a buzzsaw. No, negotiation isn't one person winning, the other person losing. Negotiation is finding a good outcome for both people. This is a good price for this shirt, $19.99 plus shipping. Again, it's a brand I don't pick up anywhere near as much as what I used to pick up in this brand. But it's Southwestern. If it's got a Southwestern vibe, I'll pick it up. I'll also pick up like good materials, linen, silk. I'll pick up vests and jackets. Those can tend to do well, especially if they're pretty unique. But man, Territory Ahead back in the day was like auto pickup. Like I'd pick up anything. I'd see that brand, and if it's in good condition, I'd pick it up. Do you have any major issues with the nifty glitch? No, that's news to me. What nifty glitch did you run into? I did not. This is news to me. I haven't heard anything about it. So I think that answers your question. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday, a rare Wednesday live hump day. I just felt like I was in the mood to teach today, and I got some really cool stuff coming for me. But we gotta ship these orders first, and then we'll dig into some things. Here's another Puma. I told you I sold 2 Pumas today. I think whatever that Puma Vero scare from back in like the late fall, I feel like it was like November or December when that happened. I think that's over with. So here's a big Puma. This is a quarter zip. It's going to be hard for you to see like the whole style. Oh, there you go. You can tell it's a quarter zip. But the reason I picked this one up, I actually passed on this at a thrift store. And then a week later, it was still there. And I had noticed the tag. I didn't notice the tag the first time around. It says Volvo Ocean Race right there. So I've had good luck with Puma collabs with Porsche and Ferrari. I've sold a bunch of those items over the years, both new with tags and used Puma, Porsche, and Ferrari. I never sold a Volvo one, but the Volvo Ocean Race is like a yacht race. It's like a boat race. So I was like, I think this one will go. I said, I feel like based on comps, I felt like it was going to sell for between $25 and $30. It sold for full asking price, $27.99 plus the buyer paid $8.95 shipping. This took 36 days to sell, so just over a month. So it's a good example, like, be curious. I just passed it because I'm like, it's a Puma quarter zip. It's going to cost me $6. I don't think it's really worth it. The next week, I noticed that Volvo Ocean Race, whatever, tag. And I was like, wait a minute. These car collabs tend to do pretty good. And it did. And here's the benefit of that. Because I waited that week, it ended up being 50% off. So instead of paying $6 for it at that thrift store, I paid $3 for it. So which is even better. So nice profit on this item. Let's see, I got $28 for it. Plus shipping, I made $1.50 off the shipping. After fees on this one, be about about $22, $23 minus the 3. Made $20 off this. So that's pretty good. I'll take that. In 36 days to sell, not bad. Have you ever ran into one of these, the Volvo Ocean Race, or does anybody know about that Volvo Ocean Race? It's like a big yacht race. I remember watching those when I was a kid on TV. They'd have those on in the summertime. All right, this is going to Michael. Thank you, Michael. Michael's in Maplewood, Minnesota. We're able to sell Puma. I've avoided Puma items. So, yeah. Good morning, Desert Rain. If you're just walking in. So, yes, this is my second Puma item that I'm shipping out today. I shipped out a pair of shorts, too. Back in the fall, there was a big scare about Vero claims from Puma. It seems that Puma, the company, went in, or one of their distributors or affiliates went in and reported a whole bunch of items as Vero claims on eBay. And eBay is obligated to take those listings down. They're legally obligated to, because they filed like a rights thing, and that's legal stuff. So a whole bunch of these items got taken down. I had some Puma stuff listed at that point in time, not many, a handful of items. None of mine got taken down. None of mine got Veroed, but I heard a lot of people did. But I haven't heard anybody mention anything about that probably since November or December when that scare came through. So let me know down below in the chat if anybody's running into Puma stuff. I haven't run into it at all. I continue to sell Puma. It's not one of my bigger brands. I'm pretty selective in Puma, but I have some other Pumas listed right now. I got some golf polos, both new and used. I have another pair of Puma golf shorts I know that's listed. So let me know down below in the chat if you run into that at all. Welcome in. Hope everyone's doing well. Desert Rain is in the house. Appreciate having you here, Desert Rain. Always do. Like having you in the comments of all the videos and stuff. I appreciate that stuff. You haven't said hi. Say hi. I won't bite unless you ask me to. Next up is brand new tags, G4. I bought a few hundred of these last year. They slow down over the fall and the winter. They still sell, and then they pick back up in the spring and the summer. So actually, I think I shipped one of these out on Monday's live too. So brand new tags. This sold for full asking price $59. I paid $29 for it. So doubled up my money on retail arbitrage. And again, I bought hundreds of these, all multi-quantity listings. I think I still have one more in this like pink stripe color in the size large, but really easy to list, hundreds of items if they're all like, the same or similar. I probably had like a total of like 20 SKUs and ended up with like 200 listings of G4. So super easy to it's like 20 listings, you get 200 units up. Not huge profit on all these in terms of profit per unit, but gosh, the dollars per hour is really great on something like that. So and I'm willing to like hold on to some stuff over the, from the off season. I'm happy to buy stuff retail clearance at the end of summer. Even if I don't think that those things will sell until the next spring or summer, I'm fine with that. I got the space. It's built into my business model. Some people don't have that. I get it. This is going to Eric. Eric's in Dallas, Texas. Nice grab on the G4. The retail price on these G4s are $120. I actually bought some G4 yesterday, retail arbitrage. Restocked on some. They're actually SKUs that I don't have in stock. But I like when I find ones that I do have in stock because I just go into the listing and change the quantity from, say, 2. If I find 2 more, I change the quantity to 4 and throw it in a bag and put it out in the garage. Done and done. I love that. But that wasn't the case with the ones I found yesterday. They were new SKUs to me, new patterns. All right. Next up. I hope that answers your question, Desert Rain. What's that there? Yeah. Next up just came in right before we went live. Pretty excited about this sale. This is a great reason why. This is like a segue into what we're going to do after we finish up eBay and Poshmark shipping. We're going to talk about how you can sell items like Joseph A. Banks that are really crowded market stuff on eBay and Poshmark. And we're going to talk like all the tips and tricks that I use to sell stuff like this. I actually listed a Joseph A. Bank this morning, ironically, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did in that listing so that I know that that will sell in a reasonable amount of time. This Joseph A. Bank sold is a suit, so 2 pieces, pants and jacket. It took 46 days to sell. It's a men's size 46R, 40 by 31 pants. It's a cashmere and wool blend. So 97% wool, 3% cashmere. Sold for $54. This was on a nifty best offer. I had it listed for $59.99. Someone this morning, while I was getting set up for the live, I was pulling all the orders. Somebody watched the item on eBay. Nifty sent them an auto offer and closed the deal. That is super, super important on an item like this because there's so many Joseph A. Banks suits listed. I don't want that shopper to have a whole bunch of time to start looking at other suits, making offers on other suits. I want them to get the deal closed on mine. So 10 minutes after this buyer, whose name is Glenn, liked this item or watched this item on eBay, Nifty said, cool, it's been 10 minutes. They haven't purchased. We're sending an auto offer for 10% off because that's an abandoned cart. And boom, we got this sale. But again, I don't want that person messing around on eBay or messing around on Poshmark or other platforms looking for this. I want to close that deal as soon as I know that this person has interest in it because they're going to find other ones. They're going to find other ones for cheaper that are the same too. So boom, close that sale. I freaking love that. I can't tell you enough how important that is to my business. Again, 8 sales in the last 24 hours, and 3 of them came on nifty auto offers. So otherwise, we're looking at 5 sales. That's a much different day, including not having this one right here, which is probably the best, second best sale of the day. So I spent $10 on this suit. It sold for $54. The buyer paid $12.95 shipping. I'm going to make $36.50 off this one sale here. Thank you, Nifty. I mean, it's a huge weapon or tool or whatever you want to call it. What's up, Peter's in the house from the West Coast. Best wishes. It's hot, 100 degrees. I knew you were going to put like when I saw your name, Peter, I was like, he's going to throw a heat, like a temperature, a hot temperature in the chat. I just knew it was coming. Your reputation precedes you. I did a while back on a few Puma items. A while back, I passed on a few items because of it. I'm not passing on Puma. I never did. I just assumed that was like got to be a storm cloud that went away. I actually bought some like Puma like right around the time that it happened. I was like, this is just a blip. And I've seen it happen before. It happens. There's a big scare. Everybody runs away from those items. And I love that because then I'm like, nobody else is going to be picking these up. Nobody else is going to be listing these. I can sell Puma when nobody else is. Of course, I don't hold secrets from y'all, but I just told you I'm selling Puma again. And I mean, I never stopped. I never got any bureaus. So this isn't one of my bigger poly bags. I didn't mention this, but I have a big list of all the tools I use for my business. I'm going to drop that list in the chat for YouTube and Facebook. That's right there in the chat right now. It's always in the description of this video. If you're over there on Instagram, a link won't work in the chat, but you can go to chris@peak.com or you can go to the link just right in my profile and you'll find that big list. It's like 4 or 5 or 6 pages long with all the stuff I use for my business, including these bags here. I have 2 size clear bags. This is the bigger bag. I think it's 14.5 by 19, might be 15 by 19, but you'll see it. It'll be linked and it'll tell you exactly what I use each item for. So, and I love it because that's exactly how I reorder all my tools and supplies. I just go to my list, click the link. It makes it nice and easy for me to do my shopping too, but I share it with you as well. So this is another bag that I use. I have 3 different size bags, shipping bags. So this is my largest of them. I believe this is 14.5 by 19. And I have that linked with a description. I tell you exactly what I use each size bag for. So, and again, not all shipping materials are made the same. You know, so I've tested a lot of different vendors over the years, sort of accidentally in a lot of cases. And sometimes I went with the best price, and going with the best price wasn't always my best bet. You would find ones with like crappy adhesives or just like really thin materials. I like a thicker material, like a 2.5 mil thickness. So all the stuff I recommend is like a little bit thicker, so it holds up in shipping, doesn't get all messed up, and adhesives that actually work in like good consistent quality. I think that's really important. This is going to Glenn. Glenn's in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. I've been selling Joseph A. Banks. I started selling suits and blazers in January of 2021. It was a couple months after I went full time, and I said, listen, I need to learn a new category. And I wasn't really selling any suits and blazers. Maybe I sold a couple, but it's like, I need to learn this category as I continue to grow this business. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I see suits and blazers everywhere. No resellers are going through them. I need to learn that section of the thrift store because I think there's a lot of money there. And I started looking at sold comps on eBay and seeing like, man, there's a lot of high dollar suits and blazers. I started studying some YouTubers who specialized in suits and kind of taking notes of like what they were picking up and passing on and what they were saying about suits and blazers, about what to look for. I took my notes, I took screenshots of what they were selling, and just started bringing stuff home and going through the experience of listing them and selling them and getting offers and seeing how long things sat. And here we are 4.5 years later. And I'm still learning about suits and blazers, but it's a great category for me. I think at this point, I've already sold this year. I've sold 51 blazers and I think 9 suits. So that's 60 total suits. And just from that category, 60 pieces. And we're not even halfway through the year here, almost halfway through the year here. But so it's my highest profit margin category. I mean, typically these suits are selling for typically $50 to $200, and blazers are typically selling between usually like $35 on the low end for what I pick up, and some blazers can go up into the $100+ range too. Actually got an offer yesterday for $200 on a blazer, and I counter offered it. I'm just remembering that I didn't hear back from that person. It's part of the game. I should have accepted it. I paid $7 for the blazer. I could flip it for 200, but I'm like, no, I think I can get 250, 260, and I'm fine with it's a really in-season blazer. I think somebody else will come along and buy it, but imagine that, $200, and I countered it. But it's a great item. It'll sell. Can you help me how to figure out brands like Aeropostale and Hollister are from 2000? I don't really know anything about Aeropostale and Hollister, to be honest with you. That's not really part of my repertoire. I should probably learn more about it. My guess is, Shannon, that you know more about Aeropostale and Hollister than I do. I just don't know much about that stuff. I have a pair of sweatpants that I've had since high school that are Aeropostale, and they're all ripped up and terrible, but I still have them. That's all I know about Aeropostale. Sorry. I still have a lot to learn about suits and blazers. A loot to learn. I like that you put a loot to learn. That makes a lot of sense to me. We got 2 Poshmark orders going out the door. This first one's actually a nifty offer too. So I got a big load of online arbitrage Salomon brand new inbox boots. And these ones are Gore-Tex boots. You can see they're the X Ultra Mid GTX. GTX stands for Gore-Tex. So waterproof Salomon boot. These retail for like $179. I had them listed for $99. Somebody on Poshmark hit the like button on that item, and then 10 minutes later, Nifty sent them an offer for 10% off. Done deal, $90 on these. So love that. Hey, let's do a little box resizing. So this is a Poshmark order. Poshmark orders, you can use any of the USPS priority shipping materials, the free stuff from USPS.com. Unfortunately, the shoebox is too small. The USPS shoebox priority is too small. I'll show you. I've got one right here. It's great for used shoes. Just about all used shoes, except for like boots and high tops, will fit into this USPS priority shoebox. Unfortunately, it won't fit most new in tag or new in box shoes. It definitely won't fit these boots. So we're going to use a box called the 1095 box, which is nice for jackets and suits and blazers. It's a flat box like this, good for like winter jackets and things too that sell on Poshmark. Obviously, this isn't going to fit. It's not even close. But what we can do is we can resize this box because it's big enough. It's just not shaped right. So we're going to do that really quickly here. There's different ways to do it. I'll show you the way that I do it really quickly. My daughter has 4 Makobi size 6X crazy embroidered tees. Not finding much about them. Paid $5 each. It's some kind of streetwear. She can't find any comps or decide what to list them for. Any suggestions, Debbie? I off the top of my head, I just don't know that brand, so I don't really have any suggestions for you other than like looking up sold comps and all that. But I don't have any built-in knowledge of that brand, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would help you out. I would just have to do some research. I would suggest that you do that same research. If you can't find anything, I'm not really sure what to tell you then. Where did the items come from? Sorry, I just don't know that brand. I'm not really the best with streetwear. I'm kind of conversational in streetwear, right? Like I know a little bit, but I'm not fluent in streetwear. I've picked it up over the years. I can recognize some of it. I know how to look stuff up. So what I'm doing is I'm just lining up this box with the edge of the table. I'm going to fold this, put a crease in this box just so it's the width of the box matching. So just folded a crease like that. I'm going to flip the box over, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So flip and flip. You can do this with like a marker and stuff too. I've seen people do it a bunch of different ways. This is the way I do it, just on the side of the workbench. Just line it up. Boom, another fold. And then as I open this up now on the new folds, work with me here. Here it is. You can see the new size of the box, so it's shaped like a bigger rectangle. So I'm just going to take I guess I'll take a pair of scissors, and I got to cut the new flaps. I actually have boxes that are the right size to ship shoes. I have a 14 by 10 by 6 box. I pay about $1 or $1.10 a piece for those boxes. I get them from Staples. I have them linked, like staples.com. I ordered them online in packs of 25. I have links in that document, the tools document, that go to each. There's an Amazon link, which typically is a little bit more money, but sometimes it's cheaper, and a Staples link for 14 by 10 by 6 boxes, which means I don't have to take these extra few minutes to resize a box. That's typically what I do when I'm not live, but I wanted to show you the opportunity to. That would be no fun. I wouldn't be able to show you exactly how this whole box resizing works using these free boxes. So boom, that slides in perfectly just like that. And now I'm just going to go ahead and cut these new tabs a little bit, fold the box in perfectly. Actually looks pretty good. Sometimes I do this and it looks all mangy, but this looks pretty good. And I don't even have to use any void fill, packing paper, or any of that stuff, because it's just nice and tight. It can't slide around in the box. The box is literally custom fit exactly to these shoes. So we'll tape this bad boy up. Again, this is a Poshmark order, so it's going priority. So therefore, we can use this box. If this was eBay, I wouldn't ship it priority. I would just use the boxes that I have. So there it is. It doesn't move around. It's actually a pretty good looking box right there, if I do say so for myself. This is going to Lily. Lily is in Hugo, Minnesota. She's got some new hiking boots coming her way. Thanks, Lily. Put a little Chris at Peak sticker on here too. Where did I put them? Here it is. It's a good day for a hike. You got some good weather out there. You know, we're stuck in that like weather routine where it's sunny for half the day, but we will almost certainly get showers / thunder showers. Yesterday was actually, so 2 days ago, it rained like most of the day. Like it started out sunny and then we got a bunch, like showers came through like 5 different times. But yesterday it was sunny like all day until like the evening time. And then we got some like pretty serious thunderstorms in the evening time. But it was nice until the evening anyway. Actually, Kim said it rained a little bit here back at the house. I was out sourcing. It didn't rain where I was, but that's the mountains for you this time of year. Like just all these little storms pop up. Some people get them, some people don't. Some people get 5 storms in a day. Some people get 2 or 1 or 0. It's strange, but every day we've been getting those like little pop-up storms here. Hope you're getting good weather up there, surfsy. I'll try YouTube. I'm getting kicked out of Insta. How do I watch your live on Facebook? I went to your page, but don't see live. You're probably on the wrong page. If you go to chrisatpeak.com, which is like in my profile, I have all my socials linked. So you can like direct link it. You can go to YouTube or Facebook. Again, it's just go to tap on my name on Instagram. It'll take you to my profile. You'll see the link for chrisatpeak.com. Click on that and just go to the socials. You see all of them right there. They're all linked nice and neat for you. What's up? Nick Smith in the house from Vegas. How's the Vegas trip going? That's awesome, man. I hope you're having a great time. Great timing is I have 3 shoes to send out today. Nice, Kathy. Hopefully that little sort of demo worked out for you. I know it was a little quick, but Let's see what's happening here. Good morning, Sister Steph Peak. It was Sister Steph Peak's birthday. Tell my sister happy birthday if you feel like it. It was her birthday yesterday. Debbie says, my daughter. Okay, you got a message. Yeah, sorry, Debbie. I just don't know that brand. I'd have to do some research, but you can do that same research on eBay or Poshmark, or just Google that brand and kind of see what you can find on some other platforms too. Here's our last order, and then we're going to get into some really cool teaching next. I got 5 items that I listed earlier today. All items where I think like each one has like a unique lesson in it. And I think it's important because you got to get good at finding good items. Like you should know this brand Reese. Turns out this is a more popular women's brand than it is men's brand, or it's more common, I should say. I found this Reese flannel a couple of months ago at a thrift store. I paid $5 for it. It's sold on Poshmark for a best offer of $40. I had it listed for $49. Went back and forth with this customer a little bit. We settled on $40. I'll take it. So 5 into 40 on this. Poshmark fees are 20%, right? So on a $40 sale, that's going to cost me $8 in fees. So $32 is what I put in my pocket. Buyer paid shipping, like $8.30. So anyway, 32 in my pocket. I paid 5, so my profit on that is $27 on this shirt. Took, let's see, how long did it take to sell? Took 69 days to sell, so just over 2 months on this one. So out the door. We use a padded flat rate envelope for this. But next up, you got to find the right brands, right? But then when you get them home, you got to get really good at selling. You know, this business has got a lot more competitive than when I first started in 2018. Back then, if you would scroll through sold comps or you'd scroll through active listings, there wasn't as many professional sellers, right? People who are taking really good photos, people who like loaded up their item titles with good keywords. There wasn't, people promoting back then. In fact, when I first started, promoting might have just come out on eBay, but not many people were using it. I wasn't even promoting at all at first. And then I started promoting at 1%. Then they changed it. So your minimum to promote was 2%. They changed that like a couple years later, but people weren't really promoting back then in the clothing category all that much. You didn't really need to. There just wasn't as much competition, and the competition wasn't dialed. These days, 2025, the competition's dialed. You got guys like Surf's Up Find in the chat who's got like 1,400 listings, and he's got rock star photos. He's pricing his stuff really aggressively below the average sale price. And he's promoting. He's using Nifty, their automation tools, so he shows up higher in search results. With the delisting and relisting, with the sharing. He's cross-listing the multiple platforms. Again, great photos, measurements in every description. That's who you're competing with now, right? So it's not only just finding good items, it's then being able to sell those items in a very competitive marketplace, right? It's just like in any town or city, 2 stores can carry the same exact inventory, but it doesn't mean that they're going to have the same results. One store might have better parking. One store might have better customer service. One store might have better pricing. One store might have better advertising. One store might have better sales, right? One store might have better hours. So you got to think about that thing with eBay too. You're competing with a whole bunch of other stores, much like you're just driving down the street through a commercial area in your neck of the woods. Those stores are competing oftentimes over the same items. You're doing that. You're competing with me. You're competing with Surfs. You're competing with Francis. You're competing with Nick Smith over there in Vineyard Siren on Instagram. These are professional sellers who have been selling for years, who put together really great listings. And when you scroll through the sold comps and you're like, how come those people are selling those items for $30 and I can't get 20? You got to take notes from what they're doing. Are their photos better than yours, right? Are there descriptions? Are they describing the condition of that item? Are they including measurements and you're not? Are they promoting? Are they cross-listing? Are they using Nifty as automation tools so they can show up higher in search results, right? And if the answer is yes to like any of those things, and the answer to some of those things is no for you, then you're probably getting out hustled. You're just getting out worked on the sale. You can find the same items, but it doesn't mean that they're going to get the same results as somebody who's just they're a better salesperson. And that's what it really comes down to. Surf's Up Fine says it down below in the chat. He's been doing this a long time. That guy sold a lot more stuff than I have online. And he's saying there's a ton more competition these days, and you can still be successful, but you can't skip steps, right? And I say this in a lot of my posts. There's 7 steps. We're going to dig into those steps. I'm going to show you actual listings, right? But number 1, You got to have really good photos, better photos than your competition, not almost as good, not close to as good. You need to have better than your competition photos. Number two, you have to have great keywords in every single listing. Load up those 80 characters with those great keywords: flannel, tartan plaid, uh, slim fit, whatever. Load up those item titles with those keywords that you really need to use. Even things like preppy or modern or recent, those things work for like suits and blazers, right? Number three is you got to have item descriptions, like the condition description and measurements in the description part of your listing. You got to have those things. I reviewed somebody's listing yesterday or 2 days ago, right? And I was like, man, the language in your listing description it said like somewhere, like there is somewhere on the item. And I was like, what's the where? If you're going to say there's where, people don't like, what's the word? Like uncertainties. Buyers don't like certainties. If there's where, you better tell them exactly what that where is and let them decide if they're comfortable with that. If that where is like some fraying on the collar, describe the fraying on the collar, have a pointer pointing out exactly what that flaw is so that buyer can look at it and say, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. But just saying there's somewhere on the item, I mean, that people just don't buy when there's uncertainty. So this person had a blazer that I literally sold on Monday. They had the same one in a different size. They said it had been listed for 2 years. Mine sold in like 27 days or something like that, right? So you can't have uncertainty. So that's number three. Number four, if you're selling clothing on eBay, you got to be promoting at this point. I didn't used to say this years ago. I said you probably should be promoting. Consider it if you can, if you can afford to or whatever. If you're not promoting on eBay and you're selling clothing, unless it's like really rare, unique stuff, it's just not going to work because everybody else is promoting at this point. You got to keep up with the Joneses, unfortunately. I think at this point, you've got to be cross-listing if you're selling clothing, especially if you've like already mastered one platform. I think it's time to start considering cross-listing, which would be number 5. Number 6 would be automation tools, right? I forget. I said there's 7. I missed one. But you gotta hit all those steps. You really gotta hit all those details because somebody else is. There's people in this chat who are hitting all those. Surfs Ups is hitting all those. I know Nick Smith is hitting all those, right? And as soon as you say no to one of those steps, like I'm not doing that, you're all of a sudden less competitive than somebody else. And that's just the facts of the matter. So we're going to dig into some listings. We're going to cross list some of those on a Nifty, but I'm going to show you some really unique stuff and some tips and tricks that I use in my business. So we're going to go ahead and share screen. You're going to get little peek from here on out. I did finish all the shipping, right? Yes. So let's go ahead and just do that. Let's just dig right into it. Enough preaching over here. Ridiculous. So shared screen. I'm going to share this entire screen over here. Got it. This is actually interesting. So I have this, this is my dashboard on Nifty right here. And it's popped up with a reminder because I just had this sitting in the background for a while. It says Nifty runs automatically in the background. No need to keep your device on or this page open. And that's one of the things that's like a big competitive advantage for Nifty over some of its competition. Some of the competition tells you that you have to leave your computer on and out of sleep mode if you want any of the automation tools to work. Nifty, you don't have to do that. In fact, you don't even need to own a computer. You can do all of this on your mobile. You can do all of this on your computer. You can do half on mobile, half on computer, but you don't need to leave anything open. So I think that's kind of funny that that's popped up there. So before we dig into it, here's the dashboard on Nifty. This is showing you this is one of my not so secret weapons, which is happening behind the scenes. So at the top of the screen right here, you can see this is all Poshmark stuff, all Poshmark. So right now it's done 1,345 self shares and 168 community shares, 169, just shared it again. So right there, you're talking about 1,500 plus. There's 170 community shares. So it's sharing other people's items. And guess what happens when I share other people's items? Those people come back and share my items. Every time you share something on Poshmark, whether you do it through a tool like Nifty or you do it right through Poshmark, every time you share it, your item goes top of the search results for that item. It goes right to the top. And then as other people share and add new items, you start going further on down. So 1,300, and this is actually 1,500 times, my item is showing up higher in search results. It's going right to the top. And every time it gets to the top, I get a better chance of selling that item because I'm showing up at top of search results. Next up, you can see it sent 6 auto offers. So I have this set up. If you go into settings, you can see that I have Nifty set up to wait 10 minutes. It says 10 to 15 minutes before sending an offer, send a 10% off with no shipping discount offer. So anytime somebody likes an item, 10 minutes later, and it takes no input from me. This happens automatically. I did not click any buttons to make this happen. It just happens automatically. 6 offers have been sent out, including the last offer just got sent out on those Salomon boots. That's a $99 pair of Salomon boots. Nifty sent a $90 offer. I would love for that to get accepted. We can see it's automatically following people. That helps because then when people follow you back, they share your items go to the top of the search results, yada, yada. So that's what's happening in Poshmark behind the scenes. We're only 12 hours into the day. This will end up with over 3,000 shares by the end of the day. If we move down to eBay, we can see right here 22 offers. So it's automatic. Every time somebody on eBay hits the watch button, 10 minutes later it sends a 10% off offer to that watcher. So we're trying to close a deal. We're trying to not have abandoned carts. Well, we do have abandoned carts. This is trying to take advantage of those abandoned carts, get that buyer back with a 10% off offer. It's done that 22 times today. One of those actually already turned into a sale. It's already also done 40 recreates, which is the same thing. If you manually go in on eBay, if you manually hit end item and then sell similar, what it does is it creates a new item URL and a new item number. It's a new listing as far as eBay is concerned. It just uses all your photos and all your description and all that stuff from your previous listing. You show up higher in search results when you have a new listing. Nifty does this automatically behind the scenes. I don't have to do any delisting or sell similar. I used to do this manually. I used to do like 30 a day. Now eBay's already done 22 for me today. It'll keep doing this throughout the course of the day. You can see the last one it did is this carbon to cobalt. So that's helping me show up higher in search results, and I'm not doing any work. That's done. 40 times it's done it already today. 22 is the offers. You get what I mean. Next up is Mercari. It sent an offer on this Molokai shirt. It's also done 32 relists. So the same thing. Anytime you relist something on Mercari, you go to the top of the list. So on eBay and Mercari, the way you get to the top of the search results is to delist and relist. And that's what's happening right here with the 40 and 32. The most important thing with Poshmark is the shares. That's how you get to the top on Poshmark. So Nifty's taking care of all that stuff. I don't have to devote any time or energy or whatever into that. So that's happening behind the scenes right now. Let's go in and cross list some items. If you have any questions along at this point or any point, let me know, slow me down. I'm happy to jump into things and like dig into the, go down rabbit holes and all that stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. Love that you go live on Insta. Jay Kotz is in the house. It's the only way to like really connect with y'all and talk and have conversations. The videos are great, but this is more fun if you ask me. If you already have items listed in Poshmark, can they be loaded into Nifty? Really great question. I'm going to go to the inventory dashboard. So what's going to happen when you, Michelle, switching to Nifty is the easiest thing out of all the cross listers because it uses AI to get you all set up. So I'm going to drop, by the way, that's that free trial link. I put that down below in the chat for you on YouTube and Facebook. It's a free trial and 15% off your first month if you like the trial. If you're on Instagram, you'll have to click on my name, go to my profile, and you'll find that same Nifty link right there. That'll get you that free trial. So what you're going to do is you're going to add say you're on Poshmark and eBay. You're going to add Poshmark and eBay and say, we'll just assume you're on Mercari too, because that's what I do. Poshmark, eBay, Mercari. You're going to connect those platforms in your dashboard. You're going to go in here. And I'm already added, but see how it says connect Depop? If I connected Depop, if I had any listings on Depop, what it's going to do is it's going to go in and find all those listings on Depop, and it's going to plug them in right here. And it's going to actually find, based on the matches and item titles and the matches and photos, it's going to know that this item on Depop is the same as this item here. All you have to do is then go through the list and click confirm on all those. So it's actually really easy. So somebody who's, say, using another cross lister, I won't call out some cross listers. I switched from another cross lister. I didn't have to reload all those items in manually, like copy and paste the URLs. That's what you have to do on those other ones. You have to go in and each one, you have to add the URL of the currently listed item. What's up, Christy? Welcome in. You don't have to do that. The AI on Nifty takes care of that. It literally goes in and finds all your listings on Poshmark, all your listings on eBay, all your listings in Mercari, all your listings on Depop, and then it matches them up with the AI, and then you just go through and say, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. You matched them all up right. It's also going to find a whole bunch of mistakes that your former cross-listing tool made, and I promise this will happen with me. There was dozens of mistakes that it caught, like dozens, like 40 or 50, where items had sold and weren't delisted from some platforms, or items were double listed by the cross lister on on some platforms and not on others. Like just crazy stuff. Nifty finds all that for you, and then you can just go fix all that stuff. So you can avoid the dreaded sales and all that. That's the benefit of having the AI that's attached with Nifty. It's crazy. It's what the other platforms just aren't doing. It can't, the other platforms don't go in and read all of your current listings and bring them in. That's exactly what happens with Nifty. Class listing right now, Christy, we're on the same page. If you're new to this, is there a products to look for at the Goodwills? Ryan, I'd watch a whole bunch of videos. You can go through my videos. You can go through Surfs Up Finds was just in here and start learning. It's always like beyond the brands. So I could like give you a brand name, but I'd have to give you the brand name, the model, the pattern. I'd be like, this is the thing to look for. It'd be a very difficult thing to put together in a list. It can be done, but it would be a giant pain in the neck. You just got to start learning, man. Just get out there. If I learned it that way by watching videos, taking screenshots of people's bolos, and just going through and looking stuff up through the racks, then anyone can do it. I don't have any like special magic features than anybody else. I just was curious. I watched videos, and then I looked stuff up when I was in the stores. You can do it too. And I'm not trying to be dismissive there. I'm just being honest. And hopefully you take that as uplifting and not anything else. So let's jump in. I'm going to resync those items. I hope that answered your question, Michelle. It's one of the best things is you can switch from another cross lister. That used to be a bear. I used to say like, man, choose the right cross lister the first time because you don't want to change. That's not the case. If you chose the wrong cross lister and it's time to change to the Nifty, go ahead and do it. It's easy. So we're going to do a quick sync right now. So that's going to start churning. So these 5 items that I listed this morning are going to pop up. We're going to walk through each one of these has a lesson, and we're not just talking about Nifty here. We're going to talk about why I'm probably going to sell these items a lot quicker than my competition. I'm going to show you all my tips and tricks. So I have 5 kind of unique, interesting lessons packed into these listings. So we can see the sync is complete. It looked across all my platforms, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and it was looking for anything new. It found 5 things new. And here they are. So we can say on Nifty, we got this Patagonia, this Nike pants, Bird Dog pants, Joseph A. Banks blazer, sold a suit today from Joseph A. Banks, and this Wrangler Riggs flame resistant piece. So we're going to go through each of these, and I'm going to tell you, I hand selected these and listed these perfectly because each one of these has a lesson. So first, let's go ahead and cross list this Patagonia piece right here. The lesson here, it taps into this $109 price point, which is crazy for a Patagonia jacket like this. I figured that this was probably a $40, maybe a $50 jacket when I picked this up. I was still going to pay $12 for it either way. But I didn't know it was a $109 jacket. I didn't just know this. I've sold a lot of Patagonia over the last 7 years, but I did not know that this is a $110 jacket. We're going to talk about how I figured that out and all that. But first, let's cross list this to Poshmark, and then we'll dig into the listing here. Exactly why is this $109? Why is this worth $110? And how the heck did I figure that out? So all we're going to do, we can see everything's loaded into here. We got the item title, quantity 1, price $109.99. Poshmark doesn't allow 99 or 79 or 29. It has to be a full dollar. So it'll automatically change this to 110. I'll actually back it off and I'll change it to 109 just to keep that emotional pricing going. I deleted my return policy from eBay because it's different for Poshmark, so it took that off. That's what you saw me do. It got the category right, men's jackets and coats, performance jackets. I love it. Brand is Patagonia. The size is small. Got all that stuff in there. So this is ready to go. We're going to push that right over to Poshmark. And take time and research getting in the stores. It's right. Nobody becomes in the restaurant business where I started, nobody becomes a chef in a day. Start in the dish pit, work your way up to a fry cook, work your way up to, working on the grill, the ovens, saute, sous chef. That could take, anywhere between, it could take 5 years. But just start where you're at. So we're going to go ahead and push this over to Mercari. Same thing. All this stuff is already preloaded. Mercari, I can do $109.99. You don't have to do whole prices on Mercari. I'll delete my return policy from eBay. It's got the right category. It got the right weight. It's all loaded in there. Shipping's done. Hit list on Mercari. So super quick and easy. A couple things that this does better than some of the other cross listers that I've used over the years. It does a better job picking the category than some of these other cross listers. I just think the use of AI helps with that. It's not perfect, but it's better than the other ones that I did. And the speed of it, I have to fill in way less than I have to do on some of the other platforms. That's just so quick. So I'm going to dig in. Let's dig into this eBay listing. So how the heck did I know that this item was a $199 fleece instead of like a $40 or a $50 fleece like most of these are? The key is right here. See on that picture right there, it says STY, and then it has like a big long number, STY 83730FA22. That's the style number. In fact, actually the style number is 83730. FA22 stands for this is a fall of 22 model. They probably have this come out, every year with some different, some different color schemes and whatever, right? But this is a fall 22. So super modern piece right here. But the key is I just Googled 87370. And I'm going to do that right now to show you exactly what I do when I run into it. So I take a look at the tag and I said 87, I already forget. Crap. I have too many windows open. Let's close them. All right. What did I say it was? 87730. 87. What? 83730. Got it. I swear I've done this before. So right away in my search results, did I type that in wrong again? $83730. Typed it in wrong again. Okay. Boom. So we can see right here, right from Patagonia's website, their used website, they're selling it for $144. It's called the Men's R2 Tech Face Hoodie. And we can see the results. Here's the brand new one from Patagonia. $229. So in my listing, if I go back and I go into the details, you can see like in the item title and in the description, I put R2 Tech Face Hoodie. And then I loaded it up with keywords: fleece line, jacket, stretch, and regulator. Anytime you see like R1, R2, that's referencing the term regulator. So I put that as a keyword in there. I put the model again down here. I put the style number. Sometimes people search for the style number. So I put that in the listing. It'll show up. And I copied and pasted the description from Patagonia, right from their website. Just copy and paste it right there. Copy and paste that into my description here. So somebody who's Googling this item, they can now search on eBay for that same item and say, I don't want to pay $229. They're going to come across this listing for half price. And they'll be like, wow, okay, this is the same exact jacket. I could see that the model name is in the title, and they can read the same exact description from their website. I got measurements in there too, ready to go. So this item, otherwise, if I didn't go and take those extra steps, I probably would have listed for $40 or $50, and I probably would have sold it for $40 or $50, not knowing that this is a $110 jacket. I just looked up that style number, Googled it, found it, brought it back into the listing, and and I'm going to double, maybe more than double my sale price on this item. So this is one way you can be a lot more competitive. This won't work on every single item you find. They won't have a style number on the inside, but you're typically looking for something that says STY, or sometimes it'll straight up say style, sometimes it'll say model, but typically you're looking for some variation of style. Sometimes it won't even have like a qualifier in front of it. It'll just be a number. Try searching for it. It won't always work. You're not looking for RN numbers. That's like their registration number with the government. That's not going to help you find the item. And you're not looking for the PO number. Those you can automatically cross off the list. Boom, boom. You know it's not those two. It's probably this. And the BLK stands for the black colorway. So $110 item right there. And that's the trick that I use to do that. It's not going to work every time. But it's going to help you do a ton. I use ChatGPT. I will look up the pictures of the whole item of the tags and spit it out that way. Awesome. Cool. I just don't use really ChatGPT as a tool for really much, but if that's something that you're already acquainted with, I think it's a good idea. Way faster and better than using Google. I don't know. That was pretty fast, Christy. Old age does a job on memory. There you go, Faith. And tell you how to price it based on comps and online sales. It's so fast. Nice. Download the app. Nice, Christy. I got Vero for using the exact same wording from Pottery Barn, so now I change a few words. Pottery Barn's one of those ones you got to be careful with. I wouldn't let that. What's up, Gigi? I wouldn't let that scare you about like Patagonia and stuff like that. Let's see if I missed anything. So anyway, that right there, that made me probably an extra $50 by taking that extra step. I do that on a lot of items, and it helps me get more money, and it also helps me show up in searches better. And instead of just like somebody searching through a whole bunch of fleeces, and I'm just going to be mixed in with thousands of Patagonia fleeces. If we look at the sold comp, I'm going to share the screen again. Check this out. I'm going to show you that it's actually worth that much money on eBay. Let's go entire screen. This one, share. So here are the active eBay listings. There's 11 of them for size small. And I'm the only one. This actually isn't the same item. Somebody showed up. It's an R2. It's not the same thing. I'm the only one that has a black that is used. These two are, these are pre-owned, but they're charging $231. So they're charging over retail price. They're coming from Japan. I'm the only one with black with a reasonable price. So I priced mine $109.99, which is equal to this one, which is the highest price one. And I'm like, if somebody wants the small in the color black, they can come get it for $109.99 or a best offer or whatever. And if I look at sold comps, we'll see it supports it. So there's 11 listed, and sold comps, there's 6 sold. So more than a 50% sell-through rate. And look, selling for $150 on bids from Japan, $88, 120, 125, 99, and 88. So all day, even in size small, with a 50% sell-through rate, an average sale price of over $100. It's more like $110 average sale price. So if I had just searched for Patagonia men's fleece, we're going to see a crazy town number of listings, 10,000 plus, and we'll just filter it down to size small. There's 1,100. So I'm going to be mixed in with all this stuff. The chances are my item's really not going to get seen. If somebody wants that tech face hoodie, they want to be able to Google it or search on eBay and find that item. eBay results will show up on Google as well. In fact, let's see if some did. We'll see if some did. Yep, right here. Patagonia, it's not the right one, but a Patagonia jacket from eBay listing popped up. Sometimes we'll see Poshmark ones too, but there's a whole lot of this Patagonia worn wear, and they're selling it for $119 to $144 from the Patagonia website used. But yeah, a lot of times you'll see like a whole bunch of listings that are Poshmark or Grailed or eBay. If I go through the list, we'll probably find some. Maybe not. But 110 all day. It could have been a mistake if I just listed that for 54. Let's go to our next item. So Nike item right here. So you can see I got this listed for $20.99. There's 2 lessons wrapped up in this one. So first, I'm going to dig into this eBay listing for it. So what I did on this one is I did the same thing. Again, there's a sea of Nike pants. Even if you just search for Nike golf pants on eBay, it's going to be really tough to show up high in search results because there's probably thousands of them listed right now. But what I did was I looked on the tag. You can see this tag right here has an RN number and a CA number. Those aren't the numbers we're looking for. I can cross those out right away. The next photo here, this is what I'm looking for. So that 9-digit number that starts with DJ, let me just see that right there, DJ068-025. So the style number is DJ3068. That's a 6-digit number. It's the same with their shoes. You can look up any pair of shoes this way from Nike. The last 3 digits, the 025, that's the color number. So I can just Google DJ3068 Nike, and I will find this is called the Nike 24/7 Perfect Stretch Pants. And you just put that into the listing. It's more likely to show up in search results and all that stuff. This item had a slight flaw. Let's take a look at the slight flaw. See that little spot right there? So I got a close-up image with a pointer pointing right at this tiny little spot on the front of these pants. So I noted it in my photos. And I put an asterisk read at the end of my item title. You can see that up at the top right there. And then if we go down, so the person reads, it says great use condition, very small mark on the right front leg. See photo with pointer, no other blemishes, rips, stains, or pulls, priced accordingly. So I'm acknowledging that, yep, one flaw, but that's it. It's not a whole bunch of flaws, and I've already reduced the price, because I'm acknowledging that that flaw is there. I also copied and pasted some information right from the Nike website where it says made for all day comfort, Nike Perfect Stretch. Just a simple copy and paste right from the website when I looked up the item title. So this will help this item sell a lot faster than if I just put in Nike golf pants, yada, yada. I put in the exact item title. So if somebody is looking for this on Google, they don't want to pay $80 for it. They can come find a used pair with a small spot on it, pay $20.99 or a best offer and get that item instead. And that's how a lot of your shoppers are thinking. So I'm going to go back. Let's cross list this item. We're going to push it over to Poshmark. And that's what I do with any item that has a flaw. I do all three things. I note it in the item title, I note it in the description, and I do a close-up photo of it with a pointer. So it's really clear. I very, very rarely get a return on a flawed item unless it's like doesn't fit or something like that. It's very rarely because the person didn't notice it. So this is going to be a really quick cross list, both over to Poshmark and Mercari. Nike does pretty well for me on Mercari. Mercari's slow for a lot of things, but I tend to do well with like Polo and Nike, and shoes do well for me on Mercari too. Those are three things that I tend to cross list over there more than other things. And everything's right, shipping's right, good to go. Cool. So that's it. Just takes me, I think usually to list an item, it's about 20 seconds to the two platforms. The Poshmark one spun a little bit longer than it typically does. Let's take a second. Let's look at some questions here, and then we'll dive into 3 more items, which I think are great lessons on how these are really common items: Patagonia fleeces, Nike pants, Joseph A. Banks blazers. I'm showing you exactly how I sell these faster than some other people. All the tips and tricks. I'm not holding anything back. No secrets in my world. Can you show or tell how you look up men's dress blazers, just the coats and not the pants or not the whole suit? I don't know that I don't have a trick for that. I just search for blah, blah, blah blazer, and I scroll through, not the pants and not the whole suit. I think I just I don't have a trick for that. Sorry, Francis. I just look them up, and sometimes you just see both listings at the same time. I wish I had a trick for that. Hello, welcome in. Sarud is in the house. We got some chat GTP talk. I like it. Hello from Slovakia. Welcome in. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, USA, Asheville. I know Mercari is a bit dead, but is there a way to push your Mercari listings like how Poshmark allows you to share? I'm debating just upgrading to the full Nifty subscription like you have. Christy, on Mercari and eBay, getting to the top of the search results or higher in the search results is a product of delisting and relisting. That's how you get to the top. Mercari doesn't have a share function. There's another way you can get to the top too, and they have like a price lower tool within the Mercari app where you can lower your price. I think you have to lower it by at least 5%, and it will bump it up in search results temporarily. That's the other thing you can do. But Poshmark, it's shares. That's the magic for Poshmark. For Mercari and eBay, it's the delist and relist. And you can see that on my dashboard. I'll switch back to it. On my dashboard right here, you can see that on Mercari, it's already relisted 32. So 32 items. And about every day it is somewhere in that range, 30 to 50, it's relisting. So those items go to the top of the thing. The other thing is the offers. All these platforms like activity. So even if these offers on Mercari and eBay and Poshmark, we can see there's 31 total offers that have been sent out automatically for me. Even if those offers don't land, it's putting activity on those items, which is going to help them show up in search results too. These platforms, these algorithms favor activity. So the delist is really huge on eBay and Mercari, but also those shares really help too. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Not having automation. I mean, you saw what not having automation would have done for my sales today. I had 8 sales. 3 of them were on auto offers, 2 auto offers on eBay and 1 auto offer on Poshmark. So instead of 8, I would have had 5 to ship out at the beginning of this live. I'll take 8 over 5 all day. And what's the difference in price? The difference in price jumps from 40 to 70. So you're paying an additional $30 a month but I just had 3 extra additional sales today. One of those items, actually, I made a $36 profit on the Joseph A. Banks suit. So that Joseph A. Banks suit, the profit from that sale, it was a $55 sale plus shipping. The profit, the $36 profit, paid for my automation tools for the entire month. So if you already have the cross lister and you're like, should I get the automation tools too? Just think about how many sales is it going to take you? Additional sales will take you just to pay for the subscription altogether. In my case, it did it with one sale, done and done. The extra 2 sales I got from it were just added bonus, added profit that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So that's my thought process there. Do you have many buyers from Germany or Europe in general? I would say something like probably 3% of my sales on eBay go internationally. Poshmark, Mercari, and Amazon, I don't have international options for. So it's just on my eBay sales. I did delist and relist manual on eBay consistently, but it's a time suck. I guess I'll upgrade and save myself time. I used to do that too, because I used to do another cross lister that had no automation tools for eBay. It didn't send offers and it didn't delist and relist. So every morning I would go in and I would manually delist. I do it in bulk, but I would manually delist and relist 30 items. It would take me like 90 seconds, but if you start adding that up, like 90 seconds every day, like how much is that really worth to you? And it's just like another task to do on the list. I'm not really good with like all that tasky stuff. If I can limit some tasky stuff and just conquer some tasks without even lifting a finger, that really helps me out. I get really stuck in the mire with just like additional tasks. I'm not a good task master, so to speak. You'll sold me, I'll upgrade from the cross lister. Remember, I'm not selling you. I just want you to make more money. I just want you to make more. What's up, Trisha? How are you? What is up? Do you get credit if I increase my subscription because of you? That I'm not sure about. My guess, I think so. It would make sense, but I'm not 100% sure. I think so, but I've never sort of like looked into it or whatever. You're welcome. You're welcome. Welcome in. Do you sell online out there in? You said Slovakia, right? Are you selling online out there? Are there platforms? I guess eBay probably exists out there, right? You can ship out there. I got a Vera. Oh, I missed that. What did I miss? Yeah, so like one of the reasons I really like Nifty is not only does it make me extra money, but it gets me back time, and then I can choose what I want to do with that time too. So if that time I want to go make more money, meaning I can source more or I can list more that day, or create more content, right? Those are all things that I spend my time doing that make me money. So if I can use my time that I save from Nifty to go and make more money, that's great. If I save that time and then I can enjoy myself and relax and enjoy the weekend and go on a hike, or go to a baseball game or go to a concert, or stuff that we like to do, go out to dinner. If I have that time back, then that's valuable too for like personal stuff, but I can use that time to make money as well. So I have close to 1,000 items, so it's probably a good idea too. Yeah, I'm Christy. I'm surprised you got this far without the automation, to be honest with you. I mean, I know you're upgrading and you're already sold, but with 1,000 items, to me, the math is a no-brainer. You're going to get, I mean, you might tomorrow get enough additional sales. The profit from those additional sales, not the sales, the profit from those additional sales will probably pay for the automation tomorrow. And it's so important on Poshmark. The share thing is like crazy. When I first got a Poshbot, I used a different Poshbot. I started in 2021 in the fall, like September. It took a little while for the Poshbot to start really getting results. Like I saw some immediate results in the first month in September, but then October, it was like crazy town. It's like it almost needed to like hit a threshold of activity. And then like I really saw my Poshmark take off. I think maybe it was like becoming an ambassador. I think maybe that was it. I don't know. But whatever it was, it took like I saw some immediate results, but like it like kicked into another gear after 30 days. When going into the Play Store, Nifty doesn't appear to come up. So all you're going to do is you're going to go to, I'm going to show you right here. So if I go into, sorry, one second, share screen. No, entire screen. Share. So if you look up on the top, I think you can see this. app.nifty.ai, both on mobile and on desktop. That's what you'll go to. So what Nifty has is called a web app. It wouldn't be like a download app from the marketplace. It's a web app. So you go in and the functionality will be just like the desktop. You just go to the website. So if I go to my phone, and I just type in like that app.nifty.ai in my browser. So see how that's in my browser? Well, I'm really small there. Sorry. Let me do this. Stop screen sharing. See how that's in my browser? On the bottom, it says app.nifty.ai. And if I go to inventory, you can see all the same stuff. It looks exactly like what I just showed you on the shared screen. I can scroll through all my listings. I can go to that dashboard down below, and you can see exactly what we were just looking at with the shares and with the offers and all that stuff. So both that's what I like, is I switch back and forth between desktop and mobile, and both look identical. I mean, the setup is a little, obviously it's like one's like widescreen and one's sort of, tall screen, right? But I don't know if that's the right word, tall screen, narrow screen. But they look exactly alike. Everything, the fonts, the set, like everything is the same way. It's organized in the same way. You don't have to learn two different things, and you can bounce back and forth pretty quickly. I struggle when I bounce back and forth from an app that looks different from the website. I'm like, well, okay, what everything's in the same spot. It makes it super easy to navigate. But you do not need to download an app, which means you also don't have to like update your app all the time and that sort of thing. Like if you go to the webs, all their updates they're going to do on the web app. You don't have to do any like updating yourself. How do you push your items on Depop now that we've discussed the other marketplaces? I can't model it, but it's the same way. If I went to my dashboard, now I'm going to go ahead and cross list another item, but it will be the same exact process as what I'm going to cross list right now. So cool. Here I'm on the dashboard. You can see since the last time we looked, you got a whole bunch more shares too, which is great. So I'll go into the inventory. And if I was going to cross list to Depop, I would just see how there's a plus right next. It says list on Poshmark, list on Mercari. There would be a plus here for Depop. But I don't have my Depop connected. I don't have any listings on Depop. I don't sell on Depop. I have no desire to sell on Depop. I sold on there for years. I'm done with it. Remember, I also sell on Amazon. I also sell on chris@peak.com. I was also selling on TikTok Shop as well. I've stopped selling coffee on there at this point. But I have all these other things, and I have, I post content on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I have all these different things like log into and pay attention to every freaking day. So to not have another thing to log into like Depop, and I don't use Mercari for as much as I used to. It just doesn't sell as much for me. I used to sell on Depop, Grailed, Facebook Marketplace, and eBay, Poshmark, Mercari. I used to sell on 6 platforms. But then when I added Amazon, when I added chris@peak.com, it became just a little bit too much, especially when I was only selling like 2 to 5% of my items on some of those platforms. Like at some point, it's like, well, what's the point? There's a lot of diminishing returns, so to speak. I thought you did on. I haven't sold on Depop since like I think like May of 2023 is when I just pulled the plug on Depop. It just wasn't getting enough sales, and of course I'm getting like notifications on there, and I had to spend a little bit of time to cross list to it, and it just wasn't getting enough sales. And I was getting a whole bunch of offers that people wouldn't pay for. I was like, why am I even doing this? I should put some of these seconds into other things. But if you don't have the breadth of different things that you have to log into on a daily basis, it might make a little bit more sense. But for me, it was some peace of mind to be able to move on from Depop and from Grailed and Facebook Marketplace. I dumped them all at the same time. I actually dumped Mercari at the same time too, and was just doing eBay Poshmark for a little over a year. And then I added back Mercari when they did that 0 fees thing. And then they did away with the 0 fees thing. My Mercari crashed, and now I just don't put as much emphasis into it. So I'm going to go ahead and list this bird dog pants. There's another lesson wrapped up into this one, but let's first just go ahead and cross list this. So $29.99 on eBay. This will automatically adjust the price to 30 because Poshmark only does whole dollars. You can't do 99 or 79, wherever. Everything's filled in right. I'm going to hit list on Poshmark. Doesn't get any easier than that. The only thing I changed is I deleted my, I put in all my descriptions. I put like my returns accepted, et cetera, et cetera. So now we'll do Mercari. I'm going to change back this to $29.99, do that emotional pricing because you can do that on Mercari. Everything's right, size, shipping, done. So really that's about 20 seconds, even with talking to you through that. I list those 2 items and I'm done. I could go ahead and do Depop if I wanted to, and Etsy too if I wanted to. I've never sold anything on Etsy. I don't have an Etsy account. I want to look at this item real quick, so we'll dig into the eBay listing so we can get into the details here. So bird dogs pants, I could have just listed them as bird dogs and loaded it up with a whole bunch of keywords, right? Nylon, cotton blend, what is it? Cotton, nylon, spandex blend, golf tech pants. I could have loaded it all up. But instead, I just looked up what the item title is. I think I had to look at the style number if I remember right. Sorry. Did I look? I forget how I looked these up. But I ended up finding that these are Stephen Jobs pants is the item title. So I put that in there, and then I looked them up on their website. I looked up the Stephen Jobs pants, and then I just copied and pasted down in the description whatever their description is. And the key here, what I wanted to show you, in addition to finding that like item title, which helps me sell items faster, is this one also had a flaw. So you can see where it says asterisk read in the item title. I'm telling the user that, hey, there's something you got to, or the shopper, hey, there's something you got to pay attention to. So when you scroll down to the item description, you can see great use condition, very small spots on the front of the pants, see photos with pointer, no other blemishes, rips, stains, or pulls, priced accordingly. So I priced these pants at the bottom of the market at $29.99. A lot of them were selling in the $35 to $40 range. So I was just really clear with the person what the flaws were. And then you can see on the close-up right here, you can see the spot. You can see the spot with the pointer. You can see the spot with the pointer. I could have gone and like spot clean these pants. I just didn't feel like it. Sometimes I do it, but I felt like on this one, I'm like, are they all going to come out? Maybe, maybe not. 50-50 chance, maybe. And it's going to take me some time. I would rather just price these at the bottom of the market. There's a great sell-through rate. I'll just price them at the bottom of the market. It'll be $10 cheaper than everybody else. And instead of investing time into like spot cleaning and then washing them and then drying them and then waiting a couple days before I actually end up listing them, I'm like, why don't I just get them up for a few bucks cheaper? That seems to be a better use of my time. If this was a lower sell-through rate item, or the price was lower, so if the average sale price is like $20 and now I got to price them down at $14, then it's getting kind of tight, and it might be worth my time to go and and spot clean it and give it a try. In this case, just to me, I put all that information into my cauldron. I mixed it all up and I said, well, I think I could sell these for like 29 or maybe a best offer of 25 or 26, still make my profit from $5 and just sort of move on quickly and not have to go through all that spot cleaning process. That's the decision I made on these ones. It's not the decision I make on every single one, but whenever I have an item that has a flaw, that's the 3 things I do. I describe it in the item title. I put a very clear pointer at like the different flaws, if there's more than one, in the photos. And of course I describe it in the description too. So there's no gray area, right? It's very clear. These are the spots. Go take a picture, go look at the pictures, and there's no other blemishes, rip, stains, or pulls, right? I don't want to leave any ambiguity in there. I want to be very clear about what's wrong with them and what's not wrong with them. And I think that's really important. Buyers don't like ambiguity or confusion or maybes or kind ofs. They like certainty. That's how people give you their money, is through certainty. So I sell a ton of flawed items. As long as you're just really clear about it, you can still sell them and make money. Let's jump into the comments here for a second. I'll drop this shared screen. We still got a Joseph A. Banks and a Wrangler item. Talk about crowded market items. Joseph A. Banks and Wrangler, crowded, like kind of lower price items. And I'm going to sell those things. I sold a Joseph A. Banks today, for gosh sakes. So we're going to talk about what I do on those 2 items too. The sharing on Depop. I'm not sure. I haven't used Depop in like a couple of years. I couldn't answer that question. Depop is my 4th highest marketplace for selling. I stopped replying to lowball offers and likes, so I don't pay much attention, but it's the lowest fee, so I won't ditch it. Got it. Yeah, makes sense to me. Everybody's got sort of like a different game. Mine's a little bit unique in my game. All these things I got my hands in. I wish Mercari left the fees alone after they did 0 fees. They really slowed down sales. Yeah, I think they got bigger problems that you and I aren't really totally up to speed on. Jack is in the house. Selling dead people stuff is fun, eh? Always with the jokes. Jack, appreciate you being here. It's always good to have you. All right, let's dig back in. Let's share the screen and let's dig back into these the next couple listings. I think there's lessons in each one of these, in addition to like the cross listing thing, which is, my not so secret weapon to selling a lot of things that are in crowded markets faster than other people. So Joseph A. Banks, which is like a classic, like probably the most common brand you'll find in the suits and blazers section. I don't pick up all Joseph A. Bank I find, but I do pick up a good amount of it. I've actually started picking up more of it than I used to. I picked up a whole lot of it. Then I kind of like really like backed away from Joseph A. Bank, and now I'm like back into Joseph A. Bank. I think I've figured out. I think I've finally figured out the brand and like what really works well, and having like tools like Nifty like certainly helped me out. Because of you, talk about Dixon flannel. I got a lot of 8 locally and 1 sold for full price, $59.99, waiting for the others to sell. Christy, that's awesome. How much did you pay for those Dixon flannels? What a great find. I haven't found a Dixon flannel. I can't remember the last time I found a Dixon flannel. I used to find them sometimes on Mercari. I'd find them like priced really low because the person would have like a really bad, like bad photos, bad keywords, just a bad listing. And I'd see them priced really low. Nobody bought it. I'd give them an offer even lower than that. They'd accept. And I would then turn around and sell it on eBay for twice the price. So shipped to my front door, sourcing Dixons. I haven't done that in a little while, but I did that. That was one of the brands I used to sort of poach off Mercari from people who just weren't good at reselling. Sorry, that's the name of the game. It's competition. So this Joseph A. Banks, let's first cross list it. This will just take me a couple seconds. You can see all my photos across the top. Jackets and blazers. I think the competition is even more fierce when it comes to like listing quality. I think you really got to be detailed and give people a lot of details, a lot of photos, and good quality photos. People are looking for like a professionalism when it comes to suits. I went the other day, I went to Men's Warehouse because I had to get my suit fitted. I wasn't sure if it fit anymore. Turns out my suit still fits. It felt tight to me. I've gained some weight, but the guy's like, no, it's still well within the acceptable range. We could tweak a couple things, but you're good. But I ended up buying a couple of dress shirts, a tie, and a belt, which I needed. So the experience of going into Joseph A. Banks is different than going into Kohl's, right? I went into Joseph A. Banks, somebody greets me at the door, they ask me what I need, and boom, like we're right in, they're measuring me, they're like, I'm trying this stuff on, they're fitting it, they're describing things, they're talking about like the little details of the fit and back here, and then the person is like pulling out shirts for me based on my measurements. He's like undoing all the, what do you call it, like the needles that are in there and stuff for me, right? Like, hands, try this one on, undoes the buttons for me and everything. When I'm putting on the jacket, he's behind me and I'm sliding the hand. It's a different experience when you shop for suits and blazers. That's what people are used to. So to me, that translates also onto eBay too. If you have good professional photos, and you have a lot of details, including especially measurements, and it just looks like you're professional and it looks like you know what you're doing, I think that really resonates. I think if you're mediocre on photos and a lot of items, you can still sell them. I don't think mediocre photos with blazers and suits are going to work. I think, it's also a competitive market too. But if you look at something, we'll scroll through in a second, we'll look at Joseph A. Banks listings. We'll see the people who are actually selling them, really professional photos, lots of details. Professionalism is the key because that's what they're used to. Even Men's Warehouse, that's a cheaper like suit, it's like a discount sort of suit and blazer sort of place. And already that experience, I have the guy putting on the jacket for me, sizing me, talking to me, like, the guy was an expert in suits and fits and all this stuff. And I asked him a bunch of questions about shoes and belts and what's in fashion now, right? And he's an expert. And I think that's what people are used to when they buy this kind of stuff. They expect a little bit more on eBay and Poshmark too. So that's my soliloquy there. So this Joseph A. Banks, a couple of big keywords that I put in here are are tweed herringbone. So that pattern is a herringbone pattern and it's tweed, and that's what people are going to be looking for. I also used all these keywords. Some people will argue whether this is a blazer, whether it's a sport coat, or whether it's a suit jacket. I believe it's a sport coat. But in all my listings, whether it's a blazer, a sport coat, or a suit jacket, I put all of those all those keywords. The reason being is that most people don't know the difference between a blazer, a suit jacket, and a sport coat. You never know which keyword that they're going to be searching for. So I put all 3 in there. It is a sport coat, right? But they might search for blazer, and just because the person doesn't know it's a sport coat, I still want I want my listing to show up a little bit higher. So I got this listed for $40. I think I could have gone as high as like 44 or 45 on this, but I'd like it to move a little bit quick. I paid $7 for it. I have margin there. So, okay. So this, I'm going to cross list. So it's already got the category in there. It's got the brand. Everything's done. It's got to automatically adjust this price to $40 for Poshmark because Poshmark doesn't allow the 99s or the 79s. It's going to be a whole price. So boom, this is listed on Poshmark. Mercari is a little bit different. We'll see if it picks this up. Mercari has a blazer category, and they have one for 2-button and 3-button. They might have a 4-button one too. So we'll see if this picks it up. So everything is right. I'll change that to $39.99 to get that emotional pricing going. I'm going to scroll down. It did. It picked it up. Blazers and sport coats, 2 buttons. You can see that it gives me some other considerations too if it got it wrong. It's got the suit for 2-button. It's also got like a double-breasted like recommendation that I can just click on. Of course, I can choose from all the categories, but it gives me a couple of quick one-tap links. Everything else is good here. Dimensions, all that stuff, shipping, and I'm going to hit list on Mercari. I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to show you a couple of things about my photos. We'll dig into the eBay listing here. Sport coat, what sport? Bowling. There you go. You could bowl in this jacket, I think so. $13.33 each on those Dixons, and one is fire resistance. That's sick. I've never found a fire resistant Dixon. Nice job. Don't knock dead people. I scored over 100 vintage Ralph Lauren from someone's estate. A lot for $500. Nice. Man, that's awesome. Posting them and researching sucks though. Yeah, but I like money. Let's dig into this eBay listing. Welcome in if you're just popping in. We're doing some cross listing, and I'm showing you some really specific tips on how I sell really like items from really crowded markets, and I still sell them and usually a lot faster than a lot of my competition. So number one, this is my cover photo. I didn't switch I got to do the shared screen. I got the wrong window shared. Bear with me. Big peek. eBay. Okay. Little peek. So cover photo. This isn't the way to do it. This is the way I do it. I'll temper that. There's a lot of people that do this really well. I use a little, you can see the clip. It's like a easel clip right there. It holds the jacket open. It allows the person to see the brand name. They can see the interior color. I don't know, people like that. And you can see the full jacket. You can tell that it's a 2-button jacket, and you can generally see the pattern, especially if you zoom in. That person could see that herringbone pattern if they want to. Second one is the jacket closed, more traditional look, one that people are more familiar with. I use this one because it allows people to see the brand name too and the inside, but it also looks a little bit different from my competition. I might slow down the scroll, whatever. A nice clean background. I use Photo Room to get that nice clean background there. So not distracting, very professional looking. It looks very similar to if you go to like the Patagonia website. Look at that. Nice clean background. This is how people are used to shopping. And so I want buyers who are spending money on a Patagonia website to transition right over. People who are spending $229 on an item, I want them to transition right over to my eBay listings and feel that same sort of, it feels comfortable. It feels like that Patagonia website. I used a lot of the same language. So that's my thought process there. My third photo is a close-up photo of the brand. Fourth one is a close-up photo of here. It's a combo. It's got both the size, which is 40S, which is 40 short, and it's got the composition. So wool exterior, the lining is acetate. Next up, a close-up. You can really see the pattern here. I like doing it you can do this in different parts of the jacket. For some reason, I like getting like these buttons here. I think there's just something that looks nice about that zoom in, you can see the button color as well. Next up, I show exactly how I'm measuring these items. So I include 5 measurements in every blazer, and it shows you right here. This is how I measure the item, and it says the measurements are in the next photo. In the next photo, you can see exactly what those measurements are, all in one little place. After that, I'll show you the back of the jacket. The jacket opened up inside. You can see there's no rips and tears. There's an additional tag. This is kind of a bonus photo. I took that. I don't really need to have that one. And this one right here. The reason I included this, I left the dry clean tag on there. It's just showing the buyer that, yes, this item was well taken care of. It was dry cleaned fairly recently. I don't know what that date is on there. Might not even be a date. I'm not sure. But just a little subtle thing. So I don't take off the dry clean tag. I leave it on there. And in fact, I feature it. I want somebody to know that this item was well taken care of. So I don't promise that it's like been recently dry cleaned or whatever, but I just take the picture of that. So, and then down to the description, modern jacket with 2-button front, 100% wool tweed, Brown herringbone pattern, single rear vent. This is a question that you'll get from buyers. Is it a single rear vent or is it a double rear vent? A single rear vent is more classic. It is generally considered to be more formal. So what I'm referring to is the back of the jacket. You can see on this photo that there is one vent in the center in the back. Some jackets will have a double rear vent. You can see it right there. That's the vent. Sometimes it'll be here and here. That's generally considered a little bit more casual, a little bit more comfortable. Some people prefer it, but either way, I want them to know which one that they're getting. So I include that in the description here. A lot of people will ask about that, and some people won't ask. If they don't know, they'll just move on to one that they do know, and you'll never even get the question and get the opportunity to get the sale. And then I remind them that this is a men's 40 short. If they didn't see the photos of the measurements already, I remind them that those are in the photos, so they can go and take a look at those. So that's how I do it. This Joseph A. Banks with this pattern should be a pretty quick seller. This is like a very in-fashion jacket right now. It's not necessarily a summer suit, although I could see this being worn in the summer. It feels a little bit more like a fall colorway, but it's certainly like a year-round. But it's not a summer specific. It's not really like that light beige. It's not really like a light gray or a light blue. It's not made of silk. It's not made of linen. It's not made of like a polyester viscose. Those tend to be summer seasonal suits, which are really hot right now. But this is a good year-round suit. And it should sell for me, I would imagine, pretty quickly. My price is pretty competitive at $39.99. I promote on eBay at 5%. I have automation tools that are delisting and relisting this item consistently. It's getting shared on Poshmark consistently. Of course, I'm cross-listed onto 3 platforms now with it. We just did that. So I have an audience on 3 different platforms. And I think my photos are better than a lot of my competition. And let's test that a little bit. I'm going to do a search right now for Joseph A. Bank blazer. And I'm just going to do that. Actually, I'm going to do a herringbone. Oh, look at that. I just listed it, right? Earlier this morning. So look at that. I just did Joseph A. Bank blazer. There's mine. I didn't even put the size in or anything. I'm at the top of the list. I'm promoted, and I just listed it. So bang. I love that. That's funny. I didn't know that was going to happen. But I'm going to put in herringbone. And now, so there's 1,000 of these listed. Ooh, there I am right there. So I'm still up high. I love it. Now I'm going to switch to the size 40. And I'm going to do the length of short. Oh, look at that. Even on 40, there I am, still up at the top. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Change it to short. Boom, I'm number 1. I love that. A very competitive price. You can see I got somebody next to me on a gray colorway that's at $37, but their shipping is more expensive. So it's about the same price. I got someone in at $84, somebody in at $47. So I'm top of the list with a very competitive price. To me, this looks like a pretty easy, quick sale, right? And that's part of the reason I like to price aggressively right away, because I want to take advantage of the fact that I'm number 1 on the listings right now, and really top 4 in every different search we just did for it. I want to take advantage of that with a really competitive price. Get it while the getting's good. I'm at the top. I will slowly drift down likely in these search results over time. I'm showing up high because A, I'm promoting, B, it was just listed. I also used really good keywords, I believe, too. Are you using Sizely? I'm not using Sizely. We're going to jump right back into the shared screen in a second. I use one of these. For suits and blazers, for shirts and jeans and stuff, I use this measurement, this thing that's right here on the table. But it's I don't really get accurate measurement. It's easier for me to measure the suits and blazers, I feel like, with this little bad boy. But otherwise I used and it just takes me a couple of seconds to measure something on there. Here's that blazer, by the way. I haven't even put it away yet. So that's that tweed herringbone pattern. 2 really good keywords on this blazer to get that. That's what people are searching for. Nice little piece right there. Here's some other Joseph A. Banks that I haven't listed yet, but I've taken photos. I just haven't finished the listings that I can't show you, but look at that pattern on that Joseph A. Banks. To me, pattern is the most important thing. I used to focus more on size with blazers, but pattern, if you can find patterns that are in style, that are hot, that's going to work. Here's another one. I forgot I did so many Joseph A. Banks. I found a bunch of them the other day, $7 a piece. Look at that. I left some behind, more of the solid colors. That's an in-style pattern right there on it's a modern in-style pattern. modern cut and all that stuff too, a thinner lapel. Typically those wider lapels, like a 3-inch or a 3.5 or a 4-inch lapels, that's more of like a vintage kind of look, but those things are coming back at this point too. That shows the jacket schematic. Nice. I'm familiar with the tool. It seems pretty cool. Do you use it? So what I want to do is I want to show you these search results and show you who you're competing with in addition to me, because remember, it doesn't matter that you just found good items. You have to get good at selling these items too. So I think this is a great cover photo right there. It's eye-catching. I can see the brand, just like you can see the brand on mine. I can see the pattern really nicely too. This one's okay. It's kind of lumpy. You can see that you can't really see the true color. Look how flat the color is on mine. It's consistent all the way through. Same with on this one, and same with on this one. You can see a good consistent color. This one, because of like the wrinkles and probably the light, they probably don't have two lights that are like diffused with like a diffused front on them, like a box light. So it kind of like, it looks like kind of shadowy and stuff. It just looks a little less professional to me. So even though they're high in the search results, and it's a linen and silk blend, which is great, it's a good seller, they're priced a little high, and I just don't think that their photos are look as nice as the ones around it. Remember, when people are buying suits and blazers, they're walking into a place, there's a person who's like taking care of them every step of the way, who's a professional in suits. They're used to a higher level experience. I think that mannequin looks great with a nice tie. It fits on there nicely. Great lighting on that listing. You can really tell like what color the suit is. You can clearly tell that that's a 2-button. I think it's a great listing. This one is better than the last one that was laying flat. That's a flat lay. The lighting's better on this flat lay. You can see the difference. There's not like wrinkles and stuff. Like there's not like shadows. That's the word I'm looking for. Here's another flat lay. I think that's better. This person's got better lighting. This jacket looks a little sloppy to me. They got a couple things wrong with this photo. So first thing, they didn't shoot this photo in square mode. See how this is in the left one here? That's in square mode. It fills up the whole tile. See how this one, see how there's like a border on each side? So they're not filling up that whole opportunity to show off the item. So it's really hard to tell the pattern. The item's so small in the screen. And what the heck is this thing that I'm looking at up here? Like I don't want to see your coat rack furniture. To me, it's not helping sell the item. I can't see like the close up of the pattern. To me, it's just it's not a very good photo. This is an interesting one here too. I kind of like this photo a little bit. It's got the brand name, and you can see the pattern a little bit right there. It's okay. I don't like it, but I don't love it, but I like it. I think it's better than the one just to the left of it. Look at this. I mean, that is a great photo. These are the people you're competing with. Mannequin, with that big fat tie on there too. It's like a thicker tie. Like good close up. I can tell it's that textured blue pattern. That is a really great photo. The lighting is like impeccable, nice clean background, no distractions. Next one, good flat lay. But people are going to have different opinions on this. If you can see in the background, like, I don't know, to me, that kind of takes away from the item. When you have like this distracting patterned background, to me, the listings that are to the left and to the right of this just pop off the screen. They look more professional to me. I prefer the white background. Again, when someone's on Patagonia's website, that's what they're seeing. They're not seeing a wood grain background. I want somebody that's used to paying premium price. It's going to these retail websites that are buying things for $229. I want them to come to my listing and have a very similar experience. That's my opinion on these things. If you use a wood grain background, awesome. I respect your hustle too, but I'm just sharing with you my thoughts. Great photo here. Great lighting. Mannequin looks great. Great photo here. Pretty good lighting. I think the other ones have this is a little washed out. You can see there's a little bright on the top there, a little overexposed, but a good photo for sure. Not so good photo, washed out, overexposed. This one to me is distracting. I see what they're doing. They got a little Poshmark vibe there. They're showing what do you call that kind of plant? I have one of those. Anyway, they're showing the plant. To me, that's all distracting. They're using like very little of this whole tile, and they have borders on either side. Look at that border. See the border on either side of the photo? Border. They're not using up the whole frame. They should have shot in square mode. And really, the suit is taking up like a third of this whole photo. I'm not buying a freaking plant, and I'm not buying what is that, antlers hanging in the background? To me, I think that's a miss, but you do it your way. I have no idea what's going on in the background of this. I'm just going to skip it all together. Is that their name? Is that To me, it's distracting. I don't know what it is. I'm already moving on. Great photo there. So this is your competition. I'm sorry if this is one of your photos in the chat. This is the worst photo we've seen yet. The lighting looks like it's coming in from, like, I don't know, the heavens off to the right, upper right. It's all shadowed. I can't tell the color. I can't tell the pattern. It looks sloppy. It's kind of a crappy hanger. I'm going to show you the hanger that I use too. But I think that's the worst photo we've seen yet. That it's more expensive than mine. It's showing up lower in search results. It's just, that item is not likely to sell. It's brand new too. A better photo is going to sell that item for twice the price. That's going to sit there for $44.99, where that would sell at $80 because it's brand new, if they had like good photos there. So to me, with blazers, this is your competition. There's really not that many bad photos. It's the first, maybe second bad one we've got to. There's some that were mediocre. I think that's mediocre. But there's a lot of professionalism here. There's a lot of really good photos with really good, like, clean, even lighting. That's who you're competing with. And so I showed you the way I do it, but there's a whole bunch of other ways to do it too. I think professionalism in suits and blazers is even more important. That's just the shopping experience that people are used to. So that's that. I think I hear people say all the time that they can't sell Ralph Lauren blazers. They can't sell Joseph A. Banks. Some of them tell me like even like better ones, like really good blazers. And I'm like, how do you not sell that? Like, and it's oftentimes it's because there's things that are wrong with that, with the item title, with the photos, with the description, with the measurements or whatever. All that work for $37 though, no thanks. Everyone's got a different opinion, bruh. Do you leave jackets behind that don't have the size clearly declinated? I am terrible blazer measure. I've returned blazers at Goodwill. No. Whether it has a size tag or not has no influence on whether or not I purchased that item. I just measure them. So if this item if that blazer, that 40S that I just listed, if it didn't have a size tag, I would have bought it anyway, because it's a great pattern. It's really in right now. It's a thinner lapel, which is really in right now. I would have picked it up and I would have got it home. I would have measured it, and then I would have, figured out what size it was. So to me, that's really easy. Maybe that's something you'll just get better at over time. You showed a picture on the screen of a jacket with measurements. You showed a picture on the screen of a jacket with measurements. Do you label a picture? I think this is what you're asking. I'm not 100% sure, but let me show you exactly what I do, and maybe that'll answer your question. So that's my listing right there, top of the search results. Let's get it sold. So if you scroll down, that's the sixth photo shows exactly how I measure the item. The seventh photo has the actual measurements right there, and hope that helps. I think that's what you're asking. Let me know if you had something different that you were asking. Know the picture template. I'm not sure what we're saying there. That shows the jacket schematic. I probably missed a conversation. I know that was like a few minutes ago. Traveling reseller, hotel rack. There you go. Either way, the photo looks like crap. I have a lot of, what did I miss here? Nope, I already got that one. I have a lot of work to do with my photo setup. Still need to get good lights. The ones I ordered went back. Bummer. Sorry that you didn't get the right lights. So much good information. Oop. I'm not taking a phone call from a 1-800 number. Get out of here. So much good information with this live stream. We'll have to watch again and then study. Yeah, if you don't take anything away from this, Faith, just know that your competition in suits and blazers when it comes to photos and listing quality is, just go look at them. Go look at what your competition's doing. Those are the people that you got to beat. You're probably selling the same or similar items as them. If they have better photos, better prices, they're promoting, their lighting's better and their descriptions are more detailed, then they're probably gonna sell it better for you. Natural light is free. Can you set up outside? Yes, but it's a very natural light brings its own challenges too. So if you're like actually outside, the challenge is now that you don't control your ambient lighting. It's going to be changing throughout the course of the day, right? So, the lighting 30 minutes from now is going to be different than the lighting right now. And as the light moves through the sky, but also B, like as clouds move through and all that stuff. So you're going to have to be constantly sort of adjusting your exposure or all that. To me, that would be a really tricky game to just do like bulk listing outside, because your lighting is always going to be changing and you're always going to have to be adjusting to it. Whereas in here, I control, it's a fixed, I have the same two lights, right? And I can control like if it gets really bright on, the sun comes in on one side of the room, I can adjust my blinds here to sort of dim that ambient light to change things too. So I'm in control out here. When you're outside, you're really not in control. There's some people who do it. You just have to be really good at adjusting constantly. I use photo room for my background, for my the white background on all my listings. I have their pro version. I pay for it like a yearly subscription. It's not that much money, and it allows me to use the bulk like tool, so I can just do like 40 photos all at once, where it removes the backgrounds. So that's what I use. I've used that since 2021 is when I first got photo room. Not me going to change the background on all my listings to solid white. Mandy, I'm not telling you how to do it, but I'm telling you how I do it, and also showing you how some other people do it too. So I'm not telling you to run out and get a mannequin either. We showed you some people that use mannequins. I'm not going to tell you to do that. But, there's some people who had some good flat lay suit listings, I think, too. There were some people who had not so good flat lay suit listings, too. It really comes down to the lighting. But do it in a way that works good in your space. I can't do a flat light setup in here. I could, but it would chew up a lot of my space and just wouldn't make sense functionally with the rest of the flow of the space. I'd have to compromise some other things if I did that. What's your nifty promo code? It lets me enter it for the upgrade. So you'll just put in PEAK, P-E-A-K. I'll type it. Just put in that. That's the promo code. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate that. Yes, it is. I do my pictures outside for now till my lights come in. Nice. I mean, geez. I mean, those lights I think were $90 when we looked at them. I'll link the exact lights that I use, and I'll show them to you. I'll turn this and show it to you, and while you're looking at them, because I also use these. These help like light my room for the live streams too. So they're functional for that too. Otherwise, it'd be like really dark and shadowy in here. And so let me grab that link real quick for the exact lights that I use. I've had these I got these in 2021, so it's been 4 years. I actually got them in the summer of 2021, so it's probably exactly 4 years. And this link is also always available at chris@peak.com too. I can put the link in Instagram, but you'll have to copy and paste it. I just dropped it back in there too for you. And the whole list of like all our tools is linked at chris@peak.com, but I'll drop it down below in the chat of YouTube and Facebook right now too. So that's the full list, and the link right above it is direct to the softbox lighting kit that I use right there. I've had to change one of the bulbs once. I still have the other bulb. Here it is. So I ordered a 2-pack of bulbs, and I only had to use one of them, so I still have the other bulbs. So 4 years, obviously I've listed a lot of items, and I've done a lot of live streams with these lights on over the 4 years. And I've only had to change one bulb once. Neither of these things have broken. I haven't had to do any repairs on them. I'll show you what the bulb looks like if you care. Just bit off more than I can chew maybe here. That's like what the bulb looks like. So the fact that these things have fallen down as many times as they've fallen down, because I'm clumsy, and the fact that I've used them for so many, they've been on so consistently for so long. The fact that I've only had to replace one bulb is crazy. The funny thing is I replaced this bulb last spring, like a year ago spring, so over a year ago, and the other one still is working. I haven't had to replace it. So that's kind of crazy that one's lifespan is so much longer than the other one. But kind of crazy that 4 years later one of those bulbs is still burning. So I guess that goes to the longevity or the quality of whatever's in there. I bought those same light set, love them. I also have another light set linked. It's a light set that Surf's Up uses, which is an LED panel. So for those of you who have like a little bit of a smaller space, what I like about those lights is they take up less space, and you can turn up and down like you can change like the warmth of the light. You can also change like the brightness of the lights on those ones too. I think they're like double the price, but I think these ones are fine. But maybe you jump into those ones to get going. Just got an offer on a pair of Bonobos pants. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. I got a pair of Bonobos pants. They're cotton stretch performance pants. I got them listed for $25. That's the listing. Just got an offer, 20 bucks. Let's do it. Let's move some pants. So there we go. I actually sold a pair of Bonobos jeans. I think I shipped those yesterday. Yeah. And I think I'm probably pronouncing that name wrong and somebody can take me to task in the comments, but I don't care. They sold. That's what I care about. Those lights are $120 if you don't have Amazon Prime, is why I haven't got. There's actually humans on this planet that don't have Amazon Prime. I'm just giving you a hard time. I've had Amazon Prime for so long. We just get so much stuff shipped from them. And it'd almost be crazy not to have it. We also watch like TV through Amazon Prime too, because we don't have normal cable. So there's value in that for us too. If you already have normal cable, it probably doesn't matter. I bought those same set. Nice. I'm glad that you like them. The wind just picked up. We're probably going to get a storm. Every day we get at least one, and it looks like it's happening now. I got some pants out there like drying, and they're like I think we did all our cross listing. I'm going to drop that link again for Nifty down below in the chat. We talked a lot about Nifty, and sometimes I might feel like I'm talking about it too much, but it's like built into the fabric of my business at this point. And it's a big part of that competitive advantage, not only of all those photos that I showed you, better photos, better descriptions, using the actual, like looking up the style number, finding the actual style name, putting that in the item title, all those things help promoting. But then I have Nifty sort of helping me show up higher in search results, Nifty sending auto offers to people, closing deals and stuff. Like that's a huge thing for my business. I make more money, and I would say a lot more money, because I have Nifty, and it gives me a whole bunch of time back for things that I was doing before anyway. I was delisting and relisting manually. That was taking me time. Now it's just like Nifty's just taking care of it. It gives me that time back, so I can either use that time to make more money or use that time to kick up my feet. I'm going to do one more listing, another common item. It's Wrangler. It's a brand that probably a lot of you skip. I'm going to show you exactly why I picked up this item, and I'm going to show you exactly how I listed it in a way that will probably get me a quick sale on this one too. Okay. So we can say this is the last one for today. It's a Wrangler men's. So Wrangler men's rigs FR. So Wrangler FR, which is flame resistant. So you can see I loaded up this item title, FR flame resistant. This is a size XLT, which is a good size too. People who are size XLT, XL tall, they have a hard time finding these. So I put that one in there, but I also put tall. I wanted to make it really clear this is a tall in case somebody's searching for that too. So XLT tall in that description. Long sleeve work shirt blue. The actual item title for like the title of this is flame resistant men's long sleeve work shirt. That's from the website. Again, I looked up this item on the Wrangler website and copied in exactly what they call this item. So if somebody's searching for it on Google or find it on the Wrangler website, they see it for like 80 bucks. They can come and buy mine for $27.99, lightly used in excellent use condition, get a good deal on it, and they're going to know it's the same exact shirt. I'm going to go ahead and cross list this real quickly onto Poshmark. In the listing, you can see right here, this is what I copy and pasted directly from the Wrangler website, so that when somebody is looking at that item on Wrangler's website or wherever else they might be buying it from, they know for certain that this is the same item because they're seeing the same exact description. So they're like, wow, shoot, instead of paying 80 bucks for it, why don't I just buy it in excellent use condition for 28 bucks? Especially workwear. People don't care as much about the condition of workwear. They're going to work in it, right? Typically it's a flame resistant shirt. So we'll quickly cross list this one. I'm going to get rid of my return policy from eBay from the listing. $27.99. We can see it picked up the size XLT, which is great. Casual button-down shirts, Wrangler, got it. So a $28 Wrangler shirt that I paid $5 for at the thrift store. A lot of you probably would have passed up on that, but definitely look up for that FR. Some of you probably already know that, but I'm going to emotionally price this one at $27.99, just the way I had it on eBay. You can't do the 99s on Poshmark. You already know that. And this is good to go. It's probably more of a 15 ounce, so we'll change that real quick. A little bit of a heavier shirt. All right, list on Mercari and done. So just a couple of seconds to list it from eBay onto those two other platforms. And now I guess I kind of dug into that one enough. I showed you exactly how that one is gonna sell, but we'll look at the listing on eBay. I'll show you. I haven't given you like the close up of like how I take my shirts. So this is my cover photo. I think as you scroll through other ones, what I love about this one is you can see really clearly that this is Wrangler FR right there, which is important. That's what people are looking for in this. You can see the pattern and all that stuff. Second photo is a close up of the tag. Third photo is a close up of the size tag, and it's got the details about the arc rating, full front, full back, HRC2. It's talking about the flame resistance and then how you can wash it. This is kind of a little interesting shirt with these tags. I don't do this on every shirt, but because this is like, it's so important, that somebody's buying this for work, it needs to be HRC2. They need to know this stuff. I took the close-up photos of that, and my template always has this photo listed included in the template, so I don't have to add this every time. I have a template for long sleeve men's shirts, and it includes exactly how I measure the shirt in the photos. So somebody knows that like I do the sleeve from the center of the collar all the way to the cuff, just like you would on a men's dress shirt. So it shows them exactly how I do my measurements. So there's no confusion. It also screams, hey, the measurements are in the description. So that means less people send me a message and say, hey, can you send me the pit to pit measurements of this shirt? Believe it or not, I still get some of those messages, even though I have this photo in there. People just, in the script, the measurements are in the description. I still get messages, but I get less messages since I started adding this thing in there. And the thing that's most important is the people who just scrolled away because they wanted the measurements, didn't see the measurements, so they went and bought something from somebody else. And I think having a photo like this in your photos, can help hook those people before they go away and find somebody else's listing. So because most people who they find confusion on your listing or they don't see the measurements and they want them, doesn't mean they're going to message you and wait for you to reply. They'll just go buy it from somebody else in most cases. So that's how I do my things. And down below, again, that's that whole just copied and pasted right from the Wrangler website. They've sold a lot of shirts for a lot of years using this description. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel, just borrow it from them. It's tried, it's true, and it's got to look exactly to that customer. It's got to look exactly like what it looks like on their website too. So that's how I do things. So there we go. We cross-listed 5 items. In each one of those items, if you're just jumping in right now, each one of those items had a unique lesson into it about how I sell very common items. And it's very specific things that I do to help me be more competitive in those fields. Nifty is part of it, sure, but that's not it. I don't want to simplify things down. It's doing all those steps. It's the measurements. It's the better photos. It's the promoting on eBay. It's the condition description that's really detailed. All those things, especially on flawed items. All that stuff goes into that secret sauce, along with cross-listing and along with automation tools. I don't order much from Amazon, so it doesn't. Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. I bought the lights you have, but the light bulbs don't seem as bright as yours. Should I buy replacement bulbs? Is there a way to get them to be brighter? No clue. Sorry to hear that the lights weren't as bright. When I bought the replacement bulbs, the two lights are still exactly the same brightness. So my replacement bulbs were the same as as whatever came with it. So I'm not sure. I'm sorry about that. I also bought mine 4 years ago. So you and Sarissa taught me so much. Selling on eBay, it's constant learning because of the changes. Constant learning. Yep. I mean, it'll be 7 years in this game for me in like another 3 weeks, July 2018. And the most important thing that I do every single day is to continue to learn. So that's never changed from day one. Day one, it seems a lot more important, right? Because you know so little, in day 7 and day 15, right? You know so little, and like you got to learn so much, and you feel like someday you're just going to learn it all. And then the further along you get, you realize like the learning will never end. It's constant. Like it's still so much to learn every single day, and still adjusting the business and making tweaks, especially in the summertime. This is the time where I tend to kind of look back inward and try to find tweaks and all that stuff. Now really until like late July, and then like retail clearance hits, and I spend a lot of time going like finding retail clearance and driving all over creation and loading up on a whole bunch of inventory, and then I try to get all that stuff listed. And by the time we're done with all that stuff, we're back into September, and then we're rolling into Q4 with some of the best months of sales. But so the tweaking time is now. Now is the time for me every year when I'm buying new tools. I bought a new light for my garage. That I can't believe I didn't buy this light. I just bought it, like I installed it the other day. Like, why didn't I buy this light like so long ago? So I got 2 new lights in the garage now. So now it's like the garage is like so much better lit. It's like easier for me to pull orders and just do stuff out there. I'm like, why didn't I do this so long ago? But this is the time of year I like buy those like little things to help my business. I tinker with new tools. Somebody's talking about ChatGPT, might be something I tinker with over the next couple of weeks. But this is when I tinker, I try, I test, I make some purchases, to upgrade things in my business. So, and I have been doing that. I bought some new shelves, some new bins, and really preparing for the next phase. This is the time to do it because I spend less time shipping this time of year. I typically am about 15% slower in sales. So this is a good time to sort of look in on a slower months. This is when you build. When I was in the restaurant business, you didn't try new stuff and tinker with your business when it was like, the holiday season and like, you're busy every single night and it's crazy and you're understaffed and like overworked. That's not when you try to upgrade things. You try to upgrade things when you're kind of slower, when you got a little bit more time, where you're not just you don't feel like you're just grinding through every day. You're like, I got a little bit of time to sort of test things, try things, look into things.
They called you too, but he said the car's ready.
Okay.
So we just got to figure out when and how.
Okay. Thanks, Christy. I appreciate that. Have you asked Nifty to automate Mercari to mimic your eBay prices so you don't have to change back to emotional pricing? Curious if you can make that change. I would benefit too. I don't know. I haven't asked them about that. No, I wish I could. I wish they would do that. I don't know why they don't. I also don't list as much on Mercari as I used to, so it's not as important to me. And at any point in time, I'm basically like ready to pull the plug on Mercari on any given week, so it's not as important to me maybe as some other folks. I just got back to selling full time after taking a year and a half away and sold 40 items in 2 weeks. Faith crusher, just like right back. It's like riding a bike. You're right back on the bike. I love to hear that. Thanks for sharing your wins. Kevin's in the house. What's up, Kevin? How are you? From Lakeland, Florida. We're going to sign off for the day. We're all shipped out. If you're just jumping in, I think there's some great lessons, particularly in the second half of this live, where we really dug into 5 common items that I sell consistently on my eBay store in a really competitive marketplaces. And I usually sell these items a lot faster than other people. So I showed folks exactly how I do these. And each item had some like different tips and tricks. But I think it might be one of my most valuable lessons yet. And it's the second half of the stream. I shipped at the beginning and then the second half I did that. So you might want to jump into that if you're just jumping in now. I think anybody, I don't care if you're a veteran, you've been doing this for years, there's probably a tip or trick or 2 or 3 or 4 that you can pick up from those 5 items. And it's not just, I go into like cross-listing on Nifty and all that stuff. Of course, that's a huge part of my game, and it's a not so secret weapon for me, but that's not it. There's a lot of other tips and tricks that I just showed. So I specifically listed 5 items today that were competitive items, where there's a lot of competition out there. And I thought had some like unique things. So I handpicked those from my pile, listed those this morning, and then cross-listed those with you today and really walked through all the details. So you might want to check that out. I'm going to log off for now. And as soon as I log off on YouTube and Facebook, you can rewatch this live and all the lives. So I'll catch you again next Monday. We'll be shipping out order for the weekend. Hopefully it's a busy weekend, and I hope it's a busy weekend for you too. It's also vacation season and all that. So hopefully you're spending some time getting outside, doing things like barbecuing and traveling and spending time with friends and family too. It's a good time of year. It's warm out. You can wear your shorts and your flip-flops and go to the beach or whatever it is that you like to do. I hope you do some of that stuff too. But mostly, I hope you have good sales. That's what this is all about. What's up? CT's in the house. You'll have to rewind. It's awesome. Wishing you a good day. You just waking up over there on the West Coast? I'm just giving you a hard time, brother. You're very welcome, Desert Rain. Everybody, have an awesome day. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again on Monday about 11 a.m. Eastern time. We'll go live and ship out some orders.